All right, I just got two awesome lights from Charles Wiggins Flashlights. I just did a video about this Pathfinder, but I also received this Arcadian Mini. I really wanted one of these, so excited. So let's jump right in and see what it's all about. Welcome back to Shul Lights. This Arcadian Mini was something I had wanted for quite a while. And the reason why is because it is the smallest 14500 with a deep reflector light on the market. Let me show you how small this is. All right, so this is Charles Wiggins's micro click, right? This is a 10440 light, right? The little tiny battery. Let me show you just for grins here. Let me put that next to it outside. And I want to show you that that light is the same height as the Arcadian Mini, which, as you may know, has a dramatically bigger 14500 in it. This really is the point of this light. Look how much longer, right? Look how much longer that battery is, and the diameter on a light that is the same length. Okay, so what that means is you now have a light that's not much bigger. I mean, it's a little bigger in diameter, but it's the same size as other 10440 lights, 10440 lights, but these are about 300 milliamps. And, you know, they're usually only about 3 amps discharge total. So that kind of limits the maximum lumens you can get. But with a 14500, you can get 1000, sometimes even 1200 if you get the right battery, milliamp hours. So that is 3 to 4 times the runtime that you're going to get on this little guy. So that's why the Mini was something I wanted to get. Now, how did he do it, right? That's the question. And the answer is in the head here. This is the tail of the tape, okay? He's got this new driver in here called the Quantum Chimera. So it's like the Chimera that was in this other one, but it is so thin and lightweight. I have a couple pictures, and you can see that what's going on is it's an all-in-one design. It is a single MCPCB and driver in one. If you know of the Lux RC, it's kind of like that. Or maybe even the driver board you find on a Zebra light, for example. So combining the driver and MCPCB into one board allows him to use a really deep reflector, but still have a dramatically smaller head than you get on other 14500 lights. So let's take a look at the competition. Here you have a Malhini Slim from Dawson. And here you have on the other side the Oklahoma DC0. And you can see that both of them are considerably bigger, not only in length, but diameter as well. I mean, Charles really did everything he could to make this the smallest 14500 on the market. And yet, he did not compromise on the optic at all. If you take a look here, now that I have a good focus, if you take a look, the reflector over here is actually deeper than the one in the Malhini, even though it's a tinier light. That's just really, really, really remarkable. Now let's talk briefly about how it operates, and then we're gonna get outside and take a look at how it does, okay? It uses the Quantum Chimera, and that is a programmable driver. And, you know, Charles has tried to make a driver that is easy for people to program, but still programmable, right? So in the box here that it comes in, he's got a sheet of paper like this, like a card. And on it, let's go over here. And on this card are mode groups. And the way this works is you're going to pick from this menu, 1, 2, 3 through 10, which setup you want. Now me, I love number 1. I just love having all the modes, all the light, all the different outputs available to me for whatever I'm doing. So I'm a big fan of that. But let's say we want to change it to group 3. And group 3, I believe it's either 2 or 3 that ships with. And 3 is Moonlight, 15%, 35, and 100. Okay. So the way it's going to work is we're going to mash the button a bunch of times, 10 plus times, to put it into programming mode. It's going to flash to confirm that it's in that mode. Now, here's where it's different than other drivers on the market. Other drivers on the market, you're at a surface level menu, and you have to choose whether you want to be in options 1 or 2 or 3, like so forth. This one is similar in that it has three different options. Let's go back to this. You can see options 1 is for mode groups. Option 1 is for mode groups. 2 is for changing the memory, and the 3 is for the strobe options. But here's where it's different. I just want to tell you right now, if you have background knowledge on other drivers, it dumps you into mode 1 automatically. Okay? The purpose of that is to make this as easy as possible for people to do the number one thing they want to do, which is change the mode groups. People hardly change mode memory or strobe options that much, okay? So what's going to happen is I'm going to mash the button, and when I do, I'm going to try and like dictate what's going on, okay? And note that through just waiting, it's going to throw me into mode 1, which is changing the modes. All right, so here we go. I'm going to click it on, and it's just on Moonlight right now, and then I'm going to mash it. Okay, mash it a whole bunch. I'm not even counting. Once I see it just low only like this, I'm gonna let go. You see it flutter there. Now you see it ramp down, and then you see it step down. Those are steps, and then it blinks once. Then it's doing another like ramping behavior and flashing and all that, okay? Now, let me explain in slow-mo just what happened. Okay, so I'm gonna click this off. So that ramp down and that step down and the flash indicates that we're in menu 1, okay? And if you just go on, you're setting mode groups up, all right? Now, if you wanted to change to like mode memory or something else, during the ramp down, you would tap once, and then it would flash 2 or 3 to tell you what it's in. Here, let me show you, okay? Click, 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 okay? Okay, now stutter, and when it starts ramping down, click. You see it stutters again, and now it flashes twice. Now it'd be in mode group 2, or not mode group 2, sorry, options 2, and now it's flashing and waiting for input. I'm just gonna cancel out by clicking it off. If I tapped once, it would change the behavior and put mode memory on. Okay, so let's do it again, but this time we'll go to we'll go to setup 3 for changing the strobe. So, a lot of taps. Okay, stutter. When it ramps, tap. 2 flashes, rampings, tap. 3 flashes. Okay, we are now changing the strobe if I wanted to do so. And again, what you do is tap when we're on the option 3, and you're going to cycle between a low, medium, high, light. And low means strobe is off, medium means bicycle, and high means strobe mode. So, all right, let's do it. Let's just give you a shot of how that works, okay? So, okay. Tap, 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 tap. Okay. Waiting, ramp down, tap. Waiting, ramp down, tap again. 3 flashes, okay? So now that we're in here, I'm gonna sit on this. You see I'm now waiting for input, and you can see that it's low, medium, high. Did you see that? So I would have clicked during either the low or the medium or the high. So let me do it again because I waited. Okay, here we go. So I'm gonna do it again. Okay, click, 2 flashes, ramping down, click, 3 flashes. Now, I don't want to click in low, so I'm going to wait for low. In medium, I'm going to tap. Now that I've tapped and it's gone solid, what that means is when I click the light on and do a triple tap, I should get bicycle strobe. 1, 2, 3. There you go. That is indeed a bicycle strobe, okay? All right, so now we've just explained how, options 1, options 2, options 3 work. But now I want to go back and say that you don't have to really know any of that. Just mash a bunch. And when you see all the flashes, just sit. And if you don't do anything, it's going to dump you in to the menu system. And then you're going to pick what you want. Now, I said we were going to pick, what did I say? Pick 3, I think I said. Let's pick 3 here, okay? So let's do that. All right, here we go. Mashing. Okay. Now it's ramping down. I'm not doing anything. I'm just going to sit. And the step down just happened, so it's now accepted it. Now it did 1 flash. Okay. 2 flashes. That means if I click now, I'll get the second mode group. And here's 3 flashes. 1, 2, 3. And during this step down right here, that's when I tap. So now that I've done that, I should get, okay, Moonlight, 15%, 30%, 100%, and back to Moonlight. That is indeed group 3, okay? Now, if you noticed that it had mode memory on, that's because I had turned mode memory on by accident. So let's go ahead and turn it off. Okay, here we go. So, okay, there we go. And it's ramping down, tap, flash 2 times, ramping down, and I'm gonna just sit. Okay, so now it's locking that in, and it's a low, medium, high as before, right? So low would have been memory off. I talked through it and didn't do it. So let me try it again. Okay, clicking. Okay, let me try it again. Sorry. Okay, and ramp down, tap. 2 flashes, ramp down. Now when it flashes low, I'll tap. Okay, now that it's come back on, it should be no mode memory. So when I click it, there we go. Sure enough, I'm on Moonlight. And you can go higher, higher. And when I click it off, I'm going to be back at Moonlight. There we go, Moonlight. Okay, so that worked. All right, I hope that makes sense. You know, it's one of those things where if you get confused, just practice, But I think the biggest thing is you need to figure out what those different flashes mean. And so you mash 10 times, and you're going to see a flash and then a ramp down. That ramp down is when it's asking for you to interact. And if you don't interact, it dumps you into option 1, and then it's going to be flashing for each group. So that's how it works. All right, let's take it outside and see the beam, because the beam is so focused. Oh, it's so good. Now, I'm not going to really do a bunch of lumen testing, and I'm not going to do a bunch of Sekonic testing, and here's why. Because he sent the light to me with a 219C, and I don't think he's going to be doing that much longer. He tells me that he now has Nichia 519As in at 4500 Kelvin, and that is a better emitter, so yay for you. Get that one. I did not like the 219C so much, so I actually swapped this, and that's why I have the pictures that you saw earlier. If you want to swap it, I'm not going to go through every little detail, but basically you dismantle the light. Once you get down to the Quantum Chimera, you got to use a hot air gun to take the nub off the back, the battery brass button. So you hot air it, pull it off. Then once it's off, you set the entire thing on your hot plate. And you're careful not to knock any of those ICs off. And very careful with tweezers. Pull the emitter off, put on the one you want. And if you were wondering, the emitter you're looking at in this light right now, I just swapped in. You can see it looks a little different than normal. That is a Fireflies 351A. That is a 4000K Rosie. Oh, what a great emitter that is. So I'm really happy with this. But now honestly, him moving to Nichia 519A 4500K is perfect. And I'll tell you why. So you like, let's say 5000K. Well, 4500K is really close, so you're good. You like 4000K. Well, 4500K is really good, so you're close. Oh, but wait, you're a warm light lover. You want like 3000K, or you want it super rosy. Well, Nichia 519A, all you got to do is back that driver out. You don't have to do any soldering. Just to use my Q-tip method and pop that dome off. And now you got yourself a 3500 Kelvin, de-domed 519A, rosy, and right around 3500 Kelvin. Perfect. All right. So yeah, that's the way to go. Then you don't have to do any monkey business with swapping. All right, let's go outside. Take a look at how it looks. It's such a great light. Time for beam shots. I'm outside with the Charles Wiggins Mini Click, the Arcadian Mini Click, and we're going to compare it against two custom flashlights I think would be good to compare it against. One is Charles Wiggins's own micro click, just to see how the beam varies, because you might be wondering, hey, I got a micro click, should I be interested in the Mini? And the answer is yes. You'll see why in a second. And also the Oklahoma DC0 with a 10-degree optic, just for comparison. So let's take a look here. Let's start with the Mini and micro comparison. Okay, I'm gonna take the micro here, click it on, 1001. Okay, there's turbo. Now I'm gonna take the Mini here, and 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go, we're at high. Okay, oh, there we go, now we're high. So here we go. First off, let's take a look at this tree right here. So this is with the micro. See how floody it is? It gets the whole tree. I mean, this is still very throwy for 10440 light, but let's take a look at how the Mini does now. Notice that the Mini, it has a really intense hotspot that's right in the middle of that tree. Okay, here, let's turn them both off because they're getting kind of hot. Let's take a look at the street in front of us. I want to make this point a little better. Here we go. Okay, so I'm kind of mid-ramp, but see how the hotspot's pretty big? And here, see how the hotspot's so much more defined? There's just way less corona and way less spill. And the hotspot itself is tighter. It just is. Here, look at my shadow for a second here. All right, so here is the micro. Well, let's go to moonlight. There's the micro. You can see it's almost the entire width of my shadow. And here's the Mini, and you can see it's just that part. So it's a big difference. All right, now let's take a look at the Mini itself just on this tree here, which is 55 meters for the second tree right there. And I don't think we're gonna make the back, but let's just take a look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, there we go. So 20 meters, 55 meters, no problem. And the tree line in the back, not really making it 150 meters. But hey, EDC light, right? Very small one too. All right, now we're comparing the Mini on the right to the DC0 with the 10-degree optic. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, this is the highest for the DC0, and the DC0 is very floody compared to the Mini here, and the Mini has more modes to go. So you can see the comparison. Actually, I got one more mode to go. So this is the highest for both of them, and it's no comparison. And let's go to that 55 meter tree and 55 meter tree. And again, it's just no comparison. Back to the 20, big difference. Welcome back. As you can see, the light is super throwy for its size, really focused. So that's great because, you know, I didn't quote any lumens, but typically lights of this size put around 600 lumens out. This one's around 400. And the reason it's 400 is because, you know, that emitter is sitting right on top of the positive terminal, right on top of the battery. So, you know, I mean, there's no separate MCPCB and driver here. So, you know, honestly, running at 400 lumens means a lot less heat generation. It's way better for your runtime and heat, and it's not gonna, you know, hurt the insides of the light and the battery. So that was by design. That's just the compromise when you have a light this tiny, okay? And it is a really tiny light. So yeah, I'm glad I got to review this because you could see that it's impeccable. You know, you could see that the stonewash is just gorgeous. Look at the seams there. And I've been babying this thing and putting it in a pouch. But honestly, I just want to throw it into my pants. I just want to throw it in my pocket, let it bang around, maybe get some character marks like this Pathfinder. I can't wait. So these are going to be the two that I'm going to carry from now on, you know, for the next couple months here. I'm going to carry my Pathfinder for when I need even light and illumination on a walking path. And then when I need, some candela, I'm going to go to this Arcadian Mini. Really great combo. Thanks for staying with me this long. And, if you notice that I'm producing less videos these days, well, that's by design. I'm only reviewing the lights that I think are exceptional these days. I've reviewed so many lights. I've got hundreds of reviews by now. And my ethos is always to bring to you my passion of flashlights. And this is what I'm into right now. I'm sorry if these lights are a little more expensive than the standard light, but I think a lot of my audience understands that. And you're enthusiasts after all. And I think you want to spend a little bit extra and just get a really nice light. So these are definitely worth the money. So consider liking and subscribing, and thank you for staying with me, and I'll see you in the next review.